Hello everyone, and welcome back to Killigan's Treasure. We are doing the brunch again. We're here a lot, aren't we? This is almost as much as what was it? The buffet in in extracurricular activities during the Bears route. Yeah, it's a little cozier, but it's just giving me flashbacks. No. Oh, what do you order for brunch? The usual? Oh, I forgot I was supposed to be here first. I got caught up in the excitement. Come on, Mac. We order a quick lunch and chow down as he tells me more about last minute assignments he's got done, trying to assure me that he can handle the workload just fine. I nod along, not really convinced, but not really feeling like pushing the issue further. Even though the work I did growing up was more labor intensive, putting stuff off always felt way more stressful than it should have once I got around to it, sorry. I quickly grew out of it thanks to some stern parenting from Pa. Guess I'll see how Mac handles it once he gets around to it. Look, there's nothing wrong about waiting to the last minute to do work. I did that all the time in college. And I passed. I got my degree. I'm fine. As we make our way to the Colosseum, already visible off in the distance, the thought of the reward for winning the Athlema Summit keeps bumming around in my head. Bumping around. Something about it feels off. An invitation to a banquet feast with the purest scales, sure? Sure, I get that. But then there's starving and malnourished beasts in the other part of town. It just doesn't sit right with me, is all. Soon we reach the Colosseum. Even looking at it from here, the size of it is huge. I mean, it do be a whole ass Colosseum. Ridiculously huge. Well, they need to chariot races and, football with a lion on the field. Wouldn't that make football more exciting, folks? If just like after halftime they unleash a lion onto the field, and a gun. I think this would make football more exciting. Sheesh, you could probably fit the whole town in that thing. You can indeed. The Ares Coliseum has been upgraded and expanded upon many times since its initial construction. I'd estimate that at this point it could contain a tenth of the population of Canavar itself. But we've only looking at it from the outside here. On the inside, it's much more expansive. Come on! There they go. Very fun, very fun. You ain't kidding. Mac and I walk through one of the towering stone arches onto a massive field in the center of the Colosseum. About a dozen squirrels here spaced around the field, exercising in various ways. Clanging scales echo throughout the whole arena. Some squirrels here are sparring with a partner, some are sprinting in a direction as far as they can, and only one or two are taking a breather. It's a completely different atmosphere from the shipyard. Literally. Mac told me that squirrels you don't sweat, but pyronic sparks are flying and heat up the air with enough force, even for hard scales. My jaw still agape as we walk onto the field. It feels like the Colosseum gets bigger and bigger the closer it's to its center we get. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Like a pocket-sized pasture surrounded on all sides by layers of seats. I can't even imagine how intimidating it'd be with all of them filled. All within easy vantage point to see anything that happens on the field. Like anyone up there would be looking down on me. All eyes would be on me again. It's just like, hello, Killigan.
Duh.
Are you okay? You seemed troubled there for a moment.
No, sorry. Yeah. Just, never been in one of these before. It's a little frightening, honestly.
Oh, we can leave if you're uncomfortable. I just...
Oh, nah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
Truth be told, it's pretty overwhelming. Even though a crowd, it still feels like people are looking down on me, like in Red Root. But I'll get over it. Gonna have to if I want to compete in this thing.
So, what all's there to do? Y'all have been here before.
A few times, yes, but never in a competition itself, of course. I mainly just admire watching hard scales grillsy, males especially, and the stark contrast in how they use their bodies for physical techniques as opposed to magical. It's quite interesting observing what efforts they go through to sharpen their scales, and the rivalry they embrace with open arms. I'd almost wish to join them myself, but my body is too soft for the activities their scales endure.
You're horny for him, aren't you?
Just cutting straight to the question, you know? We're really not beating around the bush. I suppose yes. It's just that I envy the camaraderie that forms between them, including how open and blunt they act towards one another, even when they're not clothed.
So, you're also a peeper.
I'd like to go crawl under a rock now. I clasped his shoulder, keeping him from retreating more than a couple steps away.
Nah, it ain't nothing to be ashamed of, Mac. I'm pretty into guys too, myself.
Really?
Well, I ain't as obvious as you are, but yeah. Back before the pestilence took hold of Redroot, engaging in affairs with beasts helped me figure out what I really wanted. Of course, none of them ended well, but I grew from it all the same.
So you took a more active approach as opposed to a passive approach.
Well, yeah. That's the only way to get around. Get anywhere, I feel. Watching from afar doesn't feel nearly as satisfying. Speaking of watching, what are all of these guys doing to train? You've been eyeing them a lot lately, right?
Oh, I have, yes. The blue squirrelsy over there struggling to pick up lumber and practicing for the log toss event. It's becoming mainstay event in the past several years, although it is occasionally dangerous to spectators.
Those purple-looking logs better not be Redroot.
I wouldn't know if they are, honestly. I'd certainly hope not, though, judging by your tone. Over here, several hard scales are comparing each other's metal by sparring with one another, using only their scales and fists. It's primarily the actual sparring event with the beasts. Wait, it's preliminary, not primarily. Primarily, yes. Okay. With Zakar, I mean. But sparring is also a part of qualifying for the summit itself. You need to defeat a certain amount of opponents to earn a spot for the main event. So sparring with others is going to be essential to win the competition.
No problem there. I've had my fair share of fighting back in Redroot. So, that's how I got this bite in my horn, too.
Wait, really? I'd admit I've been quite curious about your horn, but
Nah, I'm just pulling your tail. It's from something else entirely. I'll tell you about it some other time.
Ah, okay. Let's see. What other events are there that we haven't touched on yet?
Hey, Mac. Do you know anyone else who looks a lot like you?
Only my siblings, I believe. Why do you ask?
Because I could swear I'm seeing you're double-heading right towards us.
Huh? That's one of my sisters! Lisa! Eliza! Oh. I can very clearly see you, Maxon. Oh, hello. I don't believe we've met. She turns to address me, offering her magical arm as a greeting. I sense magic might be unfamiliar to you, but this is simply a low concentration arcana spell manifesting to manipulate an arm. No trickery to it. I hesitantly reach out and shake her arm. My paw almost phases through it, but it quickly becomes corporeal and feels almost like squeezing a sponge. I'm Eliza, as I'm sure that runt of a Skrillsy has informed you.
Name's Killigan. Pleasure.
Ah, excellent. Quite a Bovolian-sounding name, that is. It's surprising to see one of your kind in this part of the world. I myself just hopped into town as a brief respite from slaying a colossal echo that was causing mischief out in the Crystal Plains. With my band from the Echo Hunter, of course. No need to thank us.
Yeah, I figured you were one of them. I recognized the little emblem.
Oh, you've heard of us. Most of the beasts here hardly even know we exist.
Of course I have. My father used to be an echo hunter, till his later years when he took to armor smithing for him.
How intriguing. A Bavolian family enlists in the Echo Hunters. That's quite uncommon. Oh, it's not an Echo Hunter. Oh, he's not an Echo Hunter himself. It's just... I didn't ask you, Maxon. Anyway, what brings a Bavolian like you to Eris? Are the Voltorisans considering indoctrinating this town as well?
What? No, nothing like that. I'm just here to see what the, Athlama Summit's all about.
Ah, I see. Well, nothing would be better than a crash course, wouldn't you think?
How so?
Spar with me. I've been besting these hard scales without as much as taking a second wind. Sparring against a Bavolian is the kind of challenge I need. And you won't get any good physical practice from that yellow belly, that's for certain. Your belly is technically as yellow as mine, though. Feels like there's a sibling rivalry going on between Mac and his sister. A pretty one-sided one. Spar with, I'd rather not. Rather not.
Nah, I only feel like looking around today, not participating.
Oh, you're on the battlefield right now, Bavolian. I'm not taking no for an answer.
No.
I'm just going to wait over by the sidelines until this is over. Get out of here already, Maxon.
Alright, you want to spar so bad, I'll give you one.
You're aware of how sparring works, right? Sure. Great. We can get right into it then. I have no idea how sparring works, but that's fine. I'm going all in with a shoulder leading attack on my weight against her. Gotta engage this just right. She saw it coming. A good effort, but I'm used to beasts like you throwing your weight around. She's prepping some kind of strike with her magical arm. I gotta defend against this using my own strength. Just barely managed to hold against her. Magic sparks fly in the air around us. I'll try a feint hint. Maybe that'll catch her off guard. It worked. She teetered off balance, clearly not expecting a blow like that. Lucky strike. She's prepping some kind of strike with her magical arm. I gotta defend against this using my own strength. Just barely managed to hold against her. Okay. I'll go for what works against the only other Skrillsy I've fought. A punch right at the belly. A clean hit. She reeled back, not expecting me to strike there. Well struck, Bavolian. She preps some kind of strike with her magical arm. I gotta defend against this using my own strength. Just barely managed to hold against her. Okay. Oh, okay. That was a good match. I've got quite a bit of arcanics to work on in order to compete with Bavolian's strength, it seems. Here, for the trouble.
You're giving me money for fighting ya.
Indeed. Consider it a tip for indulging me. As for an actual tip, consider this for the plan on and participating in the summit. Your prowess and other skills can help in a pinch, but pushing your brawn to its limit will secure a victory. Plus, betting on spars against other potential competitors can earn you a fair share of ores. Just a couple points to be aware of. I'm certain that Yellowbelly has already told you, of course.
He hasn't actually, but thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
I see. Well, I assume he's at least told you about the bathhouse. That's where I'll be going, now that I've had my fill of sparring. I'd love it if you came along as well. I'm certain there's more I can tell you about this town than Maxon can. I'll see you there. Before I can even respond, she's already jogged off towards the Coliseum's exit. Well, that's interesting. Now that you've met my sister...
Yeah, she's, a little intense. You coming with, to the bathhouse, right?
You're following her?
Well, yeah, she said she knows more about Eris. Whether I'm competing in this thing or not, it'll probably help us to get information on Pyrrha scales and all that. I figure anything that gets us closer to grabbing my map back in is worth pursuing.
I see. I suppose you have a point.
Let's get going. Ain't got much time to waste.
Okay. Oh, he's a little saddy boy. This is just a little bit of a saddy boy. We uneventfully reached the bath house back in the middle of town, but
So, are you sure you want to stay out here? I figured with you being her brother, it'd be easier to ask her about this kind of shit.
I'm positive, yes. I assure you, it's best if I stay out of her way. Plus, she gets along far better with you. I've learned that very well over the past several years. I'm not so sold on if that's best, judging by what I've seen of his sister treats him. Is this really how sibling rivalries are?
If you say so. I'll head over to the beast side then. See you in a bit, Mac.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I hope so. Okay, I think I'll end the part here, everyone. So, I'll see you guys around.